How are you doing and how have you been? My name's Tazastical and welcome to my first look at Civilization 7. I'm very, very excited. So, let's go new game. I do know who we're going to start off with at the beginning. We are going to start off immediately with a bit of Egypt, and we can see the other leaders here. So, it looks like we can only pick antiquity at the moment. So, we've got Kingdom of Natural Wealth, Gifts of Arius. I'm dyslexic. This is Greece, Han. So it seems like her picture's there. So this is what she's ruled. However, we can then pick any of these. So the leader doesn't actually stop us picking any of the nations down here, which is an interesting way to do it. And in all honesty, I know it got a lot of hate. I like that. Replayability and all that sort of stuff. I like that. I think that's fun. You're not going to get too much negativity from me. I'm happy-go-lucky. I play what I like and I like what I play. Oh, and then we've got the difficulties here. Okay. So we got... What difficulties have we got? We got Scribe, Governor, Viceroy, Sovereign, Immortal, Deity. So let's just go Sovereign, because what I like to do when I play games for the first time is I like to have them like slightly a little bit difficult so you can lose. However, I would like to learn, be able to do all the things. Okay, then we still got the overall of the nation and everything we've picked, which is fine. I've had a little bit of a play on stream. This is all going to be cut down for the main channel, or uncut will then be sent to the uncut channel for you if you want to see everything in between. However, here we're just going to highlight all the important stuff, but you'll still be able to see the progress and stuff like that. And I'm very, very excited. So I had a little play on stream yesterday just to get to use of stuff. So this is going to be the official first playthrough. And I'm excited. And we are starting with Egypt, which is glorious. As leader of Egypt, what do we get? And yes, I'm going to avoid trying to pronounce her name at all cost. I thought she was Cleopatra for quite a while. Anyway, haha, we get 1+ culture for every imported resource. Okay, cool. So potentially a culture thing that we can do there. We also get plus 15% production towards constructing buildings and wonders in cities adjacent to navigable against rivers that we can go across. This is more important down here. So this is our leader, and you can swap your leaders, as I showed at the beginning, with then who you want to be, which is actually really fun. I do like that. And you have been able to do this in earlier civs as well. We get the gifts. And what does the Egyptian Empire gift us? What it gives us is 1+ production on these rivers that we can navigate. We get 1+ production. We'll go over that in a minute. Then we can go with what our Egypt plan is going to be and how I sort of see this civilization. We do get production towards constructing the pyramids. So I am going to try and beeline towards the pyramids, and then we'll see how strong that can then make our starting city, if nothing else. We do get a unique unit, the Medjay. A unique infantry unit, has no maintenance, plus free combat strength in friendly territory, doubled when stationed in a settlement you own, which is actually very, very good, and I'm happy with that. We get a great person with 1 charge. We haven't seen what that is yet, so I'm very, very curious. A unique quarter created by constructing, so by building these 2 buildings in a district, it creates this, I believe, and that grants 100 gold. When any wonder is completed in this city, okay? And these buildings. So the first one gives us plus 3 culture, then plus 1 gold adjacency for desert terrain. We do have a little bit of desert in our starting tile, but we'll go over our starting tile in a little bit. And then we've got plus gold and happiness for rivers. So it really wants us to make rivers and wonders is sort of what I am getting. And this is our start. So the really, really cool thing about Civ 7 is actually when we start, we just start with a base 555. So it doesn't really matter where we settle to a degree, which is actually quite nice. Now, this is the navigable river that we have been talking about, and I'm just going to say it really fast so no one can tell I've got dyslexia. So this is the thing. So when we look into Egypt herself, we get 1+ production on all these tiles. So if we come down to the lens down here and turn on the yields, all of these tiles here, we're going to get 1+ production to, which is actually a really, really good tile if you compare it to what else we could work around. We're going to get 1 food, 1 gold, 1 happiness, and 1 production, which is actually really, really nice. If we then go down to research, because we get a boost to the pyramid. So if we go down to masonry and look at the pyramids would then give us 1 gold and production to rivers in this settlement as well. So meaning on all these tiles, we will have what? 2 production, because we get 1 from Egypt, we would get 1 from the pyramids, and we would get an additional gold, which actually makes these river tiles absolutely fantastic to work. We do have some luxuries or some resources around us as well, so we do want to grab them. But I think that's going to be a really, really good opening for us. So we start with founders now. So founders found your cities, and then settlers now find all the towns afterwards. So we're going to settle here next to this river tile. Found settlement. And then Wasat. Asat. It's one of them. Pick your poison. So the first 2 things won't be a mystery to anyone. Is we either do the scout, where we can scout a boot, or we can do the Magi, which is our unique unit. So we are, what difficulty are we on? Let's remind ourselves. We are on Sovereign, mainly because I like to be able to experience the game before we try it on the higher difficulties. Our unique unit is really, really interesting because it has no maintenance, which is actually really, really cool. Now, scouts are very, very important on Civ 7, as finding stuff is actually really, really important and much more detailed. We have a place here that we can see here, a cave. So really, really cool. So I'm going to, it's going to take 1 turn, and then we can see who's recommending who. And then we're going to get our scout out first of all. Let's go next turn. We're going to take this slow, methodical. I want to enjoy this. There is no rush, and I want to win. I want to try and win. Depending how good or bad we do, that will change. Next turn. Right, so we get agriculture for free first. This gives us the granary. So no change here. So it gives us a base yield of 1+ food. It then gives us food on all farms, pastures, plantations. Okay. And we can pick up our first technology. So the first choice that we have is sailing, animal husbandry, or pottery. So as we spoke about Egypt getting all these boosts to river, we get 1+ production if we work a river, which we can actually see now. Now our border has expanded to this river tile. We can see 1 food, 1 production, 1 gold, 1 happiness. Where if we go over this river, we can see we don't get that additional production because that is what our unique empire gives us, which is actually really cool. So I think we're then going to go into sailing for that. So when we work a fishing boat on here, when we grow our city, I will show that we will then be able to get 2 food for this. So we would be a 2 food, 1 production, 1 gold, 1 happiness. Sailing there. Then we could choose production as our scout is done. We could go straight into a granary. However, I think we're going to need some infantry because the independents, which used to be barbarians, can be quite aggressive. So let's get our unique unit. Scout does have a few abilities. I do want to go get the cave first, and then I think we will showcase them. Where we have Lookout, which increases our sight range +1, which is these tiles here. They will go down. Or we have this one here, which increases our sight for 1 turn, and it reveals all discoveries within twice this range, which would be stuff like this cave or stuff like that. Nice. So let's go next turn. We've got everything set up, and then we can see our lists of stuff under the journal of what we need to do. So we need to study civics, code of law, study discipline would give us one here. I believe that's for the military one. Make a wonder. And research writing for the Great Library. Or that's the quest of it called. So let's go next turn, and hopefully it's going to let us grow our city. And now we can grow our city. So when we click our city, this is how we allocate what we're going to work. So no longer do we need builders and stuff like that. We just click the tile that we're going to work, and then it automatically improves the tile, which is absolutely amazing. And it literally tells us what we're going to do. So if you look over to the left-hand side, just under where our city is, under here, it tells you what you're going to build. So a woodcutter. That sounds good. So what we want to do to get all our bonuses is we want to go here, which will give us a fishing boat, which will then give us another food after we do sailing, because fishing boats will give us an additional food. So that seems like a really good strat with Egypt early on. Plus, it's better than anything near us at the moment. So we're going to go there. We've got 9 more turns of sailing, and then we will get that boosted. And then as we can see, we've already got the fishing boats in there. Very gorgeous game. And that is just working, which is very nice. Then we got units, so we're going to hit our first cave and then see how we can interact with that. So we just move over, right-click. Soldiers have tracked a horde of bandits to their stolen treasure. Debts must be repaid. So, and then we have options, which is actually really, really fun, and I do enjoy that you can do this a little bit more. So, we can do plus 10 production and 50 gold to our capital, or happiness towards our next celebration. We're going to go with production and gold for the time being, but if we go in, I'm going to have to remember where it is. So, if we go into social policies, we can see happiness here and celebrations. We'll get to that when we have a government later. Once, I believe it's after we get code of laws, it allows us to then pick our government. Might be after this one, but we'll have a look once we get there and we will go through it. So, let's go next turn. And we can go with our scout. So what we're going to do is we're going to move our scout up 1. And then we're going to use one of our new abilities. So what we're going to do is we're going to do search. So it'll increase the sight range +1 for 1 turn and reveal all discoveries. There we go. And then we can see these 2 squares up here have been identified to us. So we've got a ruin there and a wreckage there. So then we can move towards them, which is actually really good. Does stop us moving, does take one of our movements, but very, very key. Which is why there's probably a play to get quite a lot of scouts out quite early. And there we go, our troops rise from the ground. And we can choose production. So, in 7 turns, we will get the fishing quay, or key, if that tickles your tickle. And then we will build that, which will give us the plus food, which will obviously be glorious. So until then, we basically have a choice. We have a granary, but at the moment we don't have any farms, pastures, or anything like that. So I don't think there's any real benefit to being able to do that. So let's get another melee unit out. And then with our melee unit, we're going to walk this way. So, fairly okay river. I'd prefer it a little bit bigger. So, the river ends here. So, these are the only river tiles that we're going to get boosted through our own empire. So, command units. And our scout is going to go... So, 3 turns there, 3 turns there. So, it doesn't really matter too much. So, let's go here. And then we uncover the map as we push forward. Very, very nice. Right, next turn. Command units. So this is what I really, really like about this game. Rivers are actually things in this game, where in like Civ 6, they're not, for example. So we actually have to travel across them, which is awesome. So let's pop over there, and then we're back on foot. Right, next turn. And our scout is moving towards the wreckage. We can grow the city again. So we're going to continue with our strategy of moving across the river, because it's going to give us the most boosts compared to all the other stuff. But we will want to get dates and stuff, because if we hover over dates, we do get +2 food, +2 happiness. So, but at the moment, we will stick with the river. Okay, and here we can see our first hostile unit, highlighted in red, a hostile scout. Our scout is going to come in here for the wreckage, and we get 2 choices again. A calamity has swept through, leaving wood and clay splintered, charred, and broken. Some have escaped, others were not so lucky. So we can comb through for valuables, which would give us science and production, or we could leave offering, which would give us influence. We'll talk about influence more when we meet people and see city-states. So let's at the moment get the science and get the production. So, Swords of the Shining Land. So some of these narrative choices are generic, and some of them are based on who you are, which is actually really, really cool. So, at the borders live the fierce Magi people, elite warriors who live as nomads. They would be formidable foes, but it seems their intention is peaceful collaboration and service. And then we have 2 quests. So we have 5 Magi units within 20 turns. That might be a little bit rough. Or disperse an independent power. If we complete these by hovering over, we can see what we get. So we get 15% production towards training Magi's, or we get a militaristic attribute point. So let's try and disperse an independent power within 15 turns. And then we've got another melee unit that is going to come over here to back them up. And as our first bit of combat, hit that scout. There we go. And then back to the city. So how long until fishing is done? Fishing is done in 1 turn. These are both going to take 5 turns to complete. So let's get another melee unit. Because there's no maintenance. There's no to worry. And then we're going to move over to the ruin over here to try and get as many goodies as possible. Right, let's go next turn. Very, very excited. And that gets us our fishing quay. And a galley. And gives us other things so we can embark, traverse coast terrain, and +1 food on fishing boats. So, does that mean we get... Hang on, let's have a look. Let me see... Yields. So, we get the +1 food, and the quay, once we build that, will give us an additional 1 food, which is actually really, really cool. So it just means we've actually got some really good tiles along the river. So let's get our melee unit over here. And let's get rid of that scout. Perfect. And we can see an independent here that is yellow. And this is where we can interact with them. So if we have enough points, we can befriend them. So independents work similar to barbarians, but have changed a lot. So while they are barbarians... they can progress to city-states, which is really, really cool. So you can befriend them from here, help them out. However, you do need your influence points up at the top left to be able to do that. We have met a new civilization, so let's go meet them. And I have to admit, I love this screen. It really makes it feel like you're against someone. I don't know what someone's up to. And anyway, so our first meet, and this is what we do. We can either be hostile, that costs us 20 influence. We can be friendly, which again costs us influence, or absolutely nothing. And then it describes what happens. So we would lose relationship for the bad one. We reveal the capital of each other. And we like each other a bit more. So let's try a friendly greeting. There we go. And then it opens this screen where we can spend more of our influence points, which is really good. So we could do open markets, which would give us more gold, culture exchange, which will give us more culture, which is really, really cool. I love this screen. I really like how it works. Right. Sailing done. We're going to then choose a new technology. We're going to open up the tree because... when we go in here, we get plus 30% production towards constructing the pyramids. So, I think a good little move would be beelining to masonry to get pyramids, which would give us 1+ gold and production on navigable rivers in this settlement, but still. Must be placed on desert and adjacent to the river. So let's go animal husbandry, which does give us access to the slinger, which is really, really nice. And then we're going to go straight into masonry because we do have a desert tile there. So I think we could build the pyramids there. I don't know how it would work if there's like bushes on there, but still that would work absolutely fine. So we could attack this city-state because we do have a mission. We've got 13 turns remaining to disperse these. I would like the other military unit to join. We have got a cave there. So let's move up to that independent, and then we have diplomatic action. So he wants to invite us to start a local festival together. So we can reject it, and then we're blocked from future projects for 10 turns. We could accept, which would give us +2 influence per turn. He would get +2 happiness, or I could spend 60 points and we both get +3 happiness. So at the moment, I don't want to spend any points because I would like to befriend an independent. So I'm going to accept this. And that's that, chat. Everything's in the description below. Twitch, where I'm live Monday to Friday. Discord, where you can tell me how awesome I am. I've even got a clips channel. Turns out I have got everything. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever you're doing. And I'll catch you next time, party people. Bye.